Pleasure to me all at last, and today, here we are, the fourth and final piece relating to gameplay, and a good way to wrap up this entire short marathon that I've had with 3 episodes going on 4. Co-op gameplay is what I have for number 3051. So what do I have to say about co-op gameplay? Well, a good amount of things. Like, first off, co-op gameplay, for those who don't already know, involves a player as well as others to join on in a certain gaming session and cooperate, typically in a team of at least 2, 3, or 4 players, in order to complete a difficult task that could be accomplished by one player alone, but it'd be rather challenging. In some Call of Duty titles, especially ones that we've gotten more recently, co-op mode has been appearing pretty often. In the campaign mode of Black Ops 7, there are 4 main characters in the game itself, with Mason, Harper, 50-50, and Briggs, all joining up together in order to take down Kagan, one powerful and vigilant female. This, of course, is a good example of co-op gameplay at its finest, with up to 4 players being allowed to play in the same session. The levels in Black Ops 7 are pretty large, intricate, and open world-esque, with a number of activities to do and a number of pickups to make as well. This, of course, can include various weapons, tactical lethal items, and some special tools that may be necessary to make it to the end of the campaign mission in question. But then, of course, there comes some of the enemies in mind, some of which can be more powerful than others. It's not all about the numbers, but it's about how many villains will it take to take down one single player. Not to mention, even if one player is able to accomplish it on their own, it'd be rather difficult to pull off. And for a couple of reasons. The amount of enemies that are in Black Ops 7 that I've encountered all by myself are sometimes a bit too frustrating to deal with all alone. This is typically where the co-op element comes into play and allows for me to have some assistance from other players, regardless of where they're from or who they are in general. But one thing to note here is that the kind of AI or CPU system that modern Call of Duty games are banked on nowadays do allow for the enemy players, even if they are automated, to gang up and be a lot smarter, really giving you the feeling that the enemy is going to have a higher advantage over you and, in essence, kill you quicker. It's unlike with the older installments in which that the CPU system is a lot more simplified, which technically means it could be a little too easy for you depending on what your skill set's like. But all in all, with Black Ops 7 having a co-op mode of up to 4 players, just the fact that there are 4 characters to work with in general, it not only makes the story nice and interesting to worry about, but the fact that we've had 2 familiar characters as well as 2 newer characters in mind, it basically makes Black Ops 7 feel somewhat refreshing compared to what we have gotten in the various other Black Ops installments. With 3 and 4, they really ran out of room to talk. But with 5, 6, and 7, they've really been able to pick up the bottom of the barrel and at least take it up to the top of the barrel just before the layer of sludge fudge begins to show up. But that's not to say that 5, 6, and 7 are bad. They actually do a great job at giving us the same characters we've been seeing for years, while also giving us some pieces of the timeline that we can thankfully understand that are not going to be impeaching with the rest of the events. When Black Ops 5 came out in 2020, we were centered in the year 1981, basically the height of the Cold War, which is basically why Call of Duty Black Ops 5 is known as Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. But they basically stuck back to numbers after 5 came out. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 came out in 2024, and 7 came out in 2025. Both of these games were, again, giving us the mainline series that we had been knowing for years now. Black Ops 1 and 2 had all the Mason characters, Woods, Hudson, and even eventually newer characters would show up just as well, such as Adler, for instance. But then when you take the 2 new characters to the JSOC team that Mason and Harper are in, like I said, there are some newer elements to make it feel refreshing. Not just the fact that there was a new main antagonist, but there's also callbacks to the old main antagonist from the second title, Raul Menendez, whom of course was killed, apparently. That's seen as the canonical ending of Black Ops 2, in spite of its branching capabilities, where you can change the story elements and create a ton of new ending possibilities. And then of course, if you get the proper ending and the canonical finish to Black Ops 2, you get a free music video from Avenged Sevenfold, which honestly was quite a bonus. But Black Ops 7 though, didn't really have that. It's kind of a wasted opportunity if you ask me. I'm sure Avenged Sevenfold would love to show up for more Call of Duty Black Ops action after 13 years. But I can't say it's too late now, because maybe there could be a Black Ops 8 in the future. But I feel like I've gone a little off track here, so sorry about that. Co-op gameplay is pretty helpful in a lot of ways, considering how some games can be a bit complex to deal with, not only because of how big the environment is and how large the world and the space is, but also because of how smart the enemies are. And man, it's like having other players control the enemies. I wonder if that's going to be an element that they should have in the next installment of Black Ops, or any other Call of Duty installment for that matter. That'd be pretty interesting to try. Having other players control the enemies in the game, and then when they're killed off, they can just respawn as another one. I mean, I'm not talking about respawning immediately, like some part later in the story, because it'd be interesting to pull off. Well, anyways though, I've talked a lot about gameplay, and this whole time, with 4 straight episodes, it's making my throat feel a little numb, so I'm going to take a bit of a break here and come back tomorrow with more HJN content.